Good evening, fuckers, and welcome to the next Train Simulator Classic request video. And this one is actually one of mine. In fact, there may even be like another one a bit later on. My own choices seem to be coming thick and fast at the moment. But for this one, well, some of you may have seen my Train Simulator Classic live streams, and there was one, I think it was only the second one I did, the Pig Ugly Locos Are the Star, I think I titled it. And it featured the Class 68, which, to be fair, is not a Pig Ugly Loco in the aesthetic sense, but it is an absolute fucking hateful thing to drive in the game because of the dreadful way that the brakes have been implemented. If you hold down the brake key, or even worse, if you use the mouse to deploy the brakes, as I do, you are pretty much guaranteed to put the emergency brakes on. So getting anywhere in a Class 68 is really difficult because the emergency brakes are just constantly coming on, and it ruins it. The train would be a great one if it didn't have that issue. So I thought, right, I'll do a quick video, a relatively short route to show this, because yeah, I suspect there's quite a few who watch these request videos who have not seen that particular live stream, so you get to see the Class 68 in all its glory. Now the route we're taking is West Coast Main Line South, and we are starting at Watford Junction to be specific, and we are heading to Milton Keynes. I can't imagine why anyone would actually want to go to Milton Keynes, but nevertheless that's where we are going. And it's a journey of about 32 miles, so you know, it's not too long, but it's long enough to show you know, what the 68 is all about. I'll also add a couple of stops along the way. So where do we stop? Right, we will stop at Hemel, Hempstead and Leighton, Buzzard. So yeah, 2 stops along the way. Right, and as for the specifics, it's spring, it's a clear day, and it's 11:30 in the morning, because that really is going to change a lot. Right, let's get this up and running. Yeah, this announcement was all about Train Sim World 6. Not one single word about the promised Train Simulator Classic update. That seems to have just completely vanished. I wouldn't get your hopes up about it actually happening now if I were you. And here we are. Now, for the sake of this video, we'll say that this loco is being borrowed from ScotRail, and that's why, yeah, it still has the ScotRail livery all over it, and all over the carriages. So it's 6 carriage, I think. Yeah, 6 carriage train. I believe these are Mark III carriages. Don't quote me on it, but I'm fairly sure they are. Right, let's get the lights sorted. There's not much that needs sorting out on this train when we get underway, or yeah, prior to getting underway. So we'll get the instrument panel lights on, we'll get the desk lamp light on. So you've already got the lights there. We'll also start the ETS. That supplies power to the carriages. In fact, let's yeah, let the passengers on. Also sort out our reverser. There we go. Right, we are pretty much all set. Just release the brakes. I dare say they'll be coming on plenty of times. That sort of distant, sort of semi-high pitched hum that you're hearing in the background is because I put the ETS on. It was one of the complaints about the Class 66. It was quite noisy when the ETS was activated, but it was needed because, yeah, without that all the carriages were all in total darkness, and if it was really hot and you wanted air conditioning, well, you've got to have the ETS on. And if it's really cold and you need heating, same again there. And for, like, you know, heating and air conditioning within the cab itself. Anyway, right, we are all set. Let's get underway. So Milton Keynes is just shy of 32.5 miles. So our first stop will be Hemel, Hempstead, and then we will make our second stop at Leighton, Buzzard. So we're going to all the real sort of, like, you know, middle class sort of areas. So rather handy that we are starting on a 110 mph zone. The maximum speed of the Class 68 is 100. It might be able to do a bit faster, but it really struggles to continue accelerating once you're into the 90s. You're probably going to be, this train will probably get to about 95, but I don't think it's going to do much beyond that. I have to say, if it wasn't for the issues with the brakes, I would be a bit of a fan of this train, because it's you know, nice cabin, very detailed. The acceleration is pretty good for, you know, a train that has a max speed of 100. And given how new it is, and the power that the engine generates, this engine generates somewhere in the region of 3,500 horsepower, so it's a powerful thing. But it is also a train that was built to be an all-rounder. So it's a train that can do freight runs just as well as it can do passenger. So in that regard, the fact that a certain percentage of the engine power is clearly to, you know, put towards being able to pull pretty hefty loads, you can then understand its top speed. In fact, it does make the top speed sound bloody good. You know, a train that had freight runs in mind in its design brief as well as passenger services, and it's still able to do 100. So as we go through Kings Langley station, next station is Apsley in a mile and a half. Don't really know anything about that place, or the one we just been through for that matter. So we're up to 99.2, so we are already going faster than I thought. I thought we'd make it to 95. We're very close to the max that this train can do. Quite pleasantly surprised by that, but it does look like 99.2 is us topped out. I don't think we're going to be doing any more than this. So we'll have a quick look at Apsley. Here it is, but as you can see, Hemel Hempstead is very close. So we need to start braking. So here we go, emergency brakes. Well, what's this? No emergency brakes. No, indeed not. Because this is actually the reason why I'm showing this video, because there is a fix for that unbearable braking issue, and I have applied it, and it has done far more than just help. It has completely transformed this train, this locomotive, and it is now a great one to drive. I will of course provide a link to the fix. I should also point out that the fix only works for the Class 68 that comes with the Fife Circle Line route DLC. So if you have the I've braked way too early. If you have the standalone loco DLC for the Class 68, this fix does not work for that one. So yeah, it will only work for the 68 that comes with the Fife Circle Line. But if you do have that route, here you are. There is now a way of making sure that the 68 is now actually drivable. So, stopped at Hemel Hempstead. Now, despite the fact that this fix has really helped the brakes on this train, it is still a bit of a fiddly one to actually get it to brake, because we've effectively got two different systems for braking. So we have the main brake here, and I mean two different systems for the train brake, not, you know, the loco brake and train brake. So we have the main brake here, which I have been using, but there is also a secondary brake where, yeah, you put the throttle into the negatives, and this does apply braking as well. Now, to be honest, the brakes from the throttle here are terrible. You really do not want to be relying on them, but you can't rely on them. They're hopeless, really. But yeah, the actual brakes that you're using with the brake lever itself here, that's the main one. That's the one you really want to be using. So you can see that the old Class 350 certainly pulls away from a standstill, a downside better than this thing does. In fact, the 350, it's a great train to drive, but I think they've fucked up a bit with the acceleration rate, because it takes off like a rocket. I don't think it's quite right. So anyway, let's resume. So we've had our stop at Hemel Hempstead, and we are carrying on to well, our next stop, say, will be Leighton Buzzard. That is relatively close to Milton Keynes actually, so we've probably got a little way to go before that. The speed limit is reduced to 115 in a mile and a half, which doesn't really affect us. So it certainly looked like the highest we can do is 99.2, which still isn't bad. I mean, you know, six coach passenger train, and we're only 0.8 off our absolute the max speed that this loco is rated at. I think that's okay. So we're just gonna go straight through Hempstead. We're not going to be stopping there. Yeah, pretty swiftly catching up with that 350 now. So we raced past him. So he was probably slowing down for Hempstead station here, but of course we are not doing that. So we're up to 99. So we are pretty much topped out. So there we are, 99.2. I am pretty confident that that is us topped out. So Milton Keynes is 20 miles away. Tring is the next station, which will just be going straight through. We have actually got up to 99.3 mph, so we were clearly not topped out, and we are going on an uphill section. I mean, admittedly it's only a 1 in 335, but it is still uphill. So here is Tring station. There's certainly more to it than quite a few other stations that we have seen in these videos, but nevertheless it weren't all that. Well, I'm going to say it, I'm pretty sure 99.3 is us now topped out. We've been at 99.3 for a while. I think if we were going to go any faster, we would have been. But still, 0.7 off the max speed with 6 Mark II or Mark III carriages. It's not bad going. Pendolino going past there, Cheddington station then in 1.5 miles. Is Cheddington, the rather long class 350 Emu waiting in there. So, Leighton Buzzard is the next station. Show you how bad these brakes are just on the the throttle. I mean, this is not slowing us down anywhere near enough, so we've definitely got to use these brakes here. Now we have braked far too early, but then that's what I tend to do anyway. We'll continue using the other braking system as well, but it's really not going to make a hell of a lot of difference. see how much we can actually slow it down by once we are actually at the station. We're certainly not in any danger of stopping before it. Do I say that? What I tend to use the throttle brake, as I call it, is for holding us in position, because the main brake takes quite a while to release. I start releasing it while we're still, you know, taking on passengers and what have you. But I have the throttle brake on so that we don't start rolling backwards or anything. So here we are at Leighton Buzzard. Let's get ourselves ready for departing. So yeah, that's better. Okay, doors are all shut. Off we go. So no more stops until we reach Milton Keynes itself. So Milton Keynes is less than 9 miles away. Like I say, this was only going to be a short one. Just to show the how well the brake fix works, and it is certainly safe to say it works well. Emergency brakes are still available, but yeah, you have to just click the emergency brake button, as it really always should be. Not, you know, alright, let's use the brakes, oh now the emergency has come on. You know, that was just ludicrous. If you want an example of how bad it was, I'll say go and check my live stream. The Pig Ugly Locos Are the Star stream, and it was the last run I did on that stream, and I gave up with it really, because it was, yeah, every station I pulled into, emergency brakes cut in. Every time I had to slow down because max speed meant that, yeah, I had to. Yeah, emergency brakes cut in every fucking time. fast catching up with that 350 ahead of us. So the Emu is in the fast lanes, and here's us in the loco. Immediately it's a diesel electric, and we're in the slow lanes. So Bletchley is the next station. We'll just be going straight through there, and then Milton Keynes is the station after that, where we will be making our final stop. There we are. Bletchley is certainly quite the major station. I'm fairly sure there is a large sort of freight depot around there. Not as big as the one at Rugby, but it's still a fair size. Right, we will need to slow down a moment. Max speed limit is going down to 75 in about 1.25 miles. And that is what that one was all about. Here you go, more push board. Saying 75 with if we're going over points, so that might be what this is all about. And we have double yellow there. That is fine because yeah, if the next signal is single yellow, which it should be, then well, we won't be getting any reds until we're actually in Milton Keynes station itself. So it's not a problem. Again, I'm braking way too early. We haven't even hit the 75 mph limit. We have now, but yeah, I was still braking for Milton Keynes station already. So yeah, single yellow here. Red signal up ahead. So. So there we are. That was Watford to Milton Keynes, and more importantly that was showing the brake fix for the Class 68, which has worked like a charm. And I do believe there were no driver errors at all on that run. No, none at all. So yeah, it certainly did go well. So there we go. Yeah, just a quick one there to show that fix in action. I will obviously put a link to download that fix. So yeah, if you have the Class 68 and you are as sick of the emergency brakes always kicking in as I am, it's not the only thing that sort of like enhancement does for this train, but it is the main thing. But I will also again point out, this is only for the Class 68 that comes with the Fife Circle Line route. If you've got the Class 68 Loco DLC, this fix will not work for that. For that thing you've got to get the Armstrong Powerhouse, so instead of a free fix you've got to pay probably about like 20 odd quid or so for it. But there we go, that is that one done, and we'll see you at the next one.